Hi everyone, welcome to next installment of Under the Hood with Bish and Marj. We're here today with Marianne and Anna from
Belgium and Portugal, right?
Yes.
Yes. And you come a long way.
Absolutely.
All the way here. So you guys are postdocs here at SND, and you are upstairs in the Mackay lab, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, you're both
group.
in the Mackay lab.
We are both
Yes.
in the same lab, absolutely.
And how long have you been there?
So I've been there for 3 years already now. And do you want me to develop my research project just a little bit, just to see what I'm doing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So what I'm doing is trying to do some protein engineering. So I'm trying to design some protein that recognize specific molecules in the cell. And the final goal of this project would be to do a sort of new gene therapy and target gene not at the DNA level but at the RNA level.
Cool.
So that's in a few sentences what I'm doing.
Cool.
And did you come to Sydney specifically to work
On that project, absolutely. So back while I was doing my PhD in Belgium, I went to a conference in Melbourne and I met my actual supervisor.
Okay.
And I saw one of his talk about the project that I'm working on now, and I just love it. I just wrote to him, and here I am.
Cool.
Okay, so it was easy to like approach someone.
It was really easy, really easy.
Because I think that's a problem that a lot of sort of PhD students find.
Yes, I
finding
guess
a post. Is this your first postdoc?
it is my first. Yes.
Okay, so it's a pretty easy transition for you.
Yes, it has been a really, absolutely, yes.
And did you find it was similar to your story?
So I've been here a year.
Uh-huh.
So I was in UK before, and I did my PhD training there, and then I did a small postdoc. And then my contract was coming to an end, and I didn't have continuation on that project. There was no funds at that moment. So I had to decide what to do, and since I'm from Portugal and I need sun and I really needed a change, I think I was a bit done with UK. And because I came with my partner, he's from New Zealand, that's why we decided to come to Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess in my area as well, I would make more difference here as a protein crystallographer.
Okay.
There's a lot of protein crystallographers in UK.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here.
And your partner is also in science, right?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
also a protein crystallographer.
Yeah. Also, the same field as well.
Yeah.
What's it like being with someone
I
who's also a scientist?
would rather that he was a banker. You know, we know how the situation is. Being in science, you know, you don't have a permanent job, and so if we are two and we are in the same situation, you know, less assurance you have of your future,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. And how did you get started in science?
Well, I guess that since I was a kid, I've always been very curious, and I always loved science at school. And I guess that the most fascinating things that I really like about science is the fact that you can create design experiments to be able to understand phenomena that you wouldn't be able to see with your eyes. So this is what I find really attracting in science.
Cool. Cool. And what about you?
I guess I was always good with numbers, and biology, chemistry, they were my best subjects, and so that was my first decision why I went for chemistry. So my background is chemistry.
Oh, okay.
And then from that point on, I kind of noticed that I like more things related to life sciences.
It's like a drug. What is it like to be a woman in science? Do you think it's harder, easier? Are there
Have you
specific
felt anything
challenges?
different?
Well, I have to say, you know, like at our stage of our career, I personally believe that I can't see any difference between, you know, female and
Yeah,
male.
me neither.
both.
I would say at
Cool.
this moment, till this
Yes,
moment,
yeah.
Yeah. And
What
I would
about-
expect that in a field like crystallography, you would have maybe it's like male, heavily male bias, or just a lot of men, more so in the biochemical area. Do you find that that's still the case, or is it something that's kind of washed out?
Well, it's protein crystallography is like now a major technique, yeah. So the research is kind of biology, biochemistry. So there's a lot of girls.
What about if you think about like setting up your own lab or moving on to like the next level? Do you think that like avenues are open?
As a woman?
Is it
As a
something you
woman
want to
and
do?
also-
Yeah,
just as a career move, but also as a woman and like maybe starting a family. What are you guys thinking about?
Yeah, that would be maybe something that would be a bit tricky to coordinate, like a family life and PI type life. I think it would be something definitely challenging. But I think that some women, you know, do it. And I think it's definitely possible. You just have to be really organized, I guess.
Do you think like there are easily sort of set out pathways that you know about or like are told to us as like postdoc people trying to like set up your own lab and things?
I think that's probably a tricky spot, and I don't think there is a good way to do it. Like I think it's, from what I could understand from the people that I've been talking to, it's one case and to one case. I mean, it's never, there is not a big formula that allows you to go there smoothly. I think you just have to.
I would say that sometimes it's luck. Other times is a matter of you work on your curriculum, you know, have very good publications, so then you can compete to get those fellowships that make you start making you independent. And then once you get there, then you can, you know, have your own grants and.
So it's a pathway basically that everyone really should. It's not something that you would say, oh, as a woman, I need to do something different.
No,
I don't think so. I
You
think
don't feel any pressure to do something different.
I think the pressure comes when you want to start your own family. Then you need to know when to do it, so your career is not destroyed. You know, like,
but you guys aren't at that stage yet, per se. You don't know, or you don't know if you're at that stage. You don't know if this is something that you need to tackle anytime soon.
I think both of us were just waiting for the big paper that we
Yeah, because we're just sort of heading into, well, I'm in my final year, and so are you, right? No, you're still having a second year, So we're kind of already starting to itch at those questions and wanting to know what other people are doing.
I really believe that also there's nothing wrong of being a postdoc as a long-term postdoc. I think that's, you know, that's totally good as well. You don't get to have the stress of writing grants and so on.
Yeah, but that's very insecure. I mean, because you're counting on a PI that will always have money for you, and that's.
But some people.
I don't know. Yeah, in Europe that's not really well. In UK where I was, it was
not recommended.
You couldn't rely on that. I would say.
But I think it's going to change somehow. Maybe I'm just.
I hope so. In UK or even in Europe, the idea that I get at the moment is that if you are willing to relocate, you always have a job. If you need to stay in the same city, you know, because of your husband and your kids, and that's really much more. Yeah,
that's trickier if you want it.
You might have to move into things like, because I know some people who have to move into industry and things like that, just because they have a family and don't have the luxury of being able to move.
Yeah,
I guess it's here in Australia. I think that if you want to go to that path, I mean, the industry, private type job, I don't think there is that much actually going on.
In UK, they started having postdocs positions in the industry, but that was also not guaranteed. So it was just for 2 years or 3 years, and you were not guaranteed a position after that.
That is actually the major downside of being a scientist.
In science,
You really picture yourself more than 2 years ahead.
But for example, if Mary wants to go back to Belgium, I think Belgium is a much better situation than in Portugal.
Yeah.
So for me, going back to home is
out of the question at the
moment.
moment.
Out of the question at the moment, completely.
Oh, we've got a reader question.
Yes. So we have asked people or viewers to submit questions.
You can do that with our Twitter feed, Under the Hood
Sci,
SCI. at on the inside. Yep.
Yes, so just submit your questions each time. And the question now comes from actually, funnily enough, someone in your lab, Sarah. And she wanted to know what your favorite either piece of equipment or basically favorite piece of glassware is that you absolutely couldn't live without.
Wow, that's
I think pipettes. I couldn't live without the pipettes, but the glassware.
I would say the flask.
Flask, you love
because
flask?
we grow protein there. It's our, major.
Or is there anything that you particularly like how it looks?
Experiment.
Something how it looks aesthetically. Beautiful. Yeah, flasks are
like a conical flask.
The conical one.
In my chemistry, yes, I like the balloons. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess. Yeah, we could finish it up by asking, what would take for you guys to stop doing science? What would be something that you would say would make you quit?
Lotto?
Yeah, it's true.
You're not motivated by discovery.
Striking the lottery.
Yeah, but even so, I think I would just maybe do it part-time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stop doing it.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe having, having some really bad result for a really long period of time. That's, I think, in the end, that would really, really pull me away from science.
So you do find because I find if something doesn't work in the lab, even just once, it's like I want to give science up.
When I was writing up my thesis, that's when I decided I wanted to do a postdoc. So when I was doing my PhD, I was very frustrated and everything just came in the last year, but it was only when I was writing up that I kind of, I want to do a postdoc.
So when you
apply all the skills I got from these 4 years,
And when you saw your results all written up and organized.
Oh, definitely.
And
when you publish your first paper, that's when you're like, oh, I'm up there now.
So thank you for taking your time. I hope you enjoyed it.
We really did, actually. Yes,
Yeah, cool. Cool, I'm glad. And until next time in Under the Hood,
go with the laminar flow.
Go with the laminar flow, everybody.
See you.
Bye.